first of all, Happy New Year. So I wish you all of you have a nice 2025. And second, as you can see from my slide, so the topic of this month is spectral wave modeling. And I'm very delighted to introduce our two speakers today. So the first speaker is Dr. Jessica Meixner, sorry,
Meixner. It's all good.
Meixner from NOAA. So Jessica is going to talk about the development of the coupled wave component for operational forecast system at NOAA. So Jessica, now I will leave the room to you and stop sharing my slide. Okay, thank you, Jessica.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you so much for having me. So as he said, my name is Jessica Meixner. I work at the Environmental Modeling Center, which is a part of our weather service here in the United States, a part of NOAA. And today, my title says Development of the Coupled Wave Component for Operational Forecast Systems at NOAA. And today is going to be a little bit combination of kind of showing you where we started and where we're going, and kind of more of like details of kind of our existing operational systems and a little bit about kind of the new ones, which does involve our coupled wave components. So first off, to get started, while my name is the only one on the title slide, I by no means am the only one who has contributed to this. So I've got quite a few acknowledgments here. First up, I'd like to thank our current WAVE team here at EMC, which is this top left group, Saide, Matt, Ali, Ming, and Keston. And then I would also like to thank some of our notable former WAVE team members, that all of this would not be possible without them. We also benefit from the entire WaveWatch community, as well as the Unified Forecast System community, which I'll tell you more about, and just the entire teams here at EMC, or the Environmental Modeling Center. So I had an opportunity to take a detail into which I stepped away from the WAVE team for a few months and really focused on the bigger picture. And so I really enjoy now looking at this bigger picture and really giving us focus of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So here at the Environmental Modeling Center, our purpose is to provide the ensemble-based foundational numerical guidance that then our scientists and our forecasters use to make forecasts, warnings, and make the probabilistic impact-based decision support services. So we want to get our science right so we can get the forecast right so people can make decisions based on that forecast. And I don't have the slide here, but one of my favorite reasons why we do what we do, thinking, I usually work on global models, so thinking about the global systems. And I saw one of my colleagues from the Ocean Prediction Center on here today, and they had like a storm, Hurricane Mubarak, and you can see all of these ships using the forecast to make different decisions to avoid dangerous seas. And so I always think it's great to know our why, because we love our science and can get into the details, and it really does impact people's lives. And so here at EMC, we improve, we monitor, we do data assimilation, although not yet for waves. And we do this for the full coupled system. So atmosphere, ocean, land, waves, aerosols. And we don't do it alone. We do it with university scientists. We do it with other NOAA labs, other government agencies, and the international community, of which you are all a part of. So we have modeling systems that span minutes to years. We usually, top out usually about the seasonal timescales, though, here at EMC. And these have everything from, impacting life and property, aviation. We talked about maritime, fire weather, which is really a big deal here in the United States right now, all the way, to our health and our environment, and things like that. So why are we talking about coupling and unification? So here is a picture of what our operational what we call the quilt of models. And this is really complicated, and there's no need for you to try to see the things on this screen. It's just here to say this is really complicated. So, what are we doing moving to the future? So, we're using the Unified Forecast System, or UFS, to have a kind of code base that we can configure for our different applications, whether we are at a nowcast here over at the right, hourly, days, week, a couple of weeks, out to our seasonal forecast system. So a much more simplified system. And we talked about UFS. So this is kind of one schematic of UFS. So we've got our applications here on the outside. We've got space weather, hurricanes, marine and cryosphere. We have coastal, and then all of these pink boxes here. You can see Wave Watch here down towards the middle. And these are our component models that can be configured in different ways to create these different applications. So our idea is here that we're taking a unified approach, strength in numbers, and when you're developing your system, your updates, for example, for the regional model, that'll trickle up to the global model and vice versa. Another way to look at this complicated production suite is what we lovingly call the rainbow chart. And kind of what I want you to see here is we have lots of different systems over here on the left, and then less over here on the right. And in the yellow boxes and in between, these are just kind of different boxes or different implementations or hoped for implementations. And so over on the right, I've circled in yellow the applications that will have waves. So we have waves in our deterministic ensemble up to seasonal systems. We have a wave model in our hurricane system. We have a wave model in our coastal regional systems. We have a wave model for the Great Lakes. And so in addition to our unified system for modeling, we're also doing a unified system for our DA called the Joint Effort for Data Assimilation Integration, or JEDI. And that has also that same scenario where you have that same shared base from regional to global and for all the different Earth system components. And we're in very, very, very early stages for anything for waves, but hopefully we'll get there in the future. So when I was originally invited to give this talk, one of the inspirations for this is we recently had a paper come out describing the development of the wave component for the first coupled global ensemble forecast system at NOAA, which was really exciting. That went in a few years ago, and it was really great to get that documented and out there. And then last week, I was at the AMS, or the American Meteorological Society's annual meeting. Someone said to me, "Hey, it's really hard to find information about any of your models." And so that kind of actually inspired some of this content here is, what are we doing? What resolutions are we running? And to just kind of give kind of a broad overview in that respect. So where were we and where did we go? So that paper that we were describing and talking about for our global ensemble system, originally we had a standalone global waves ensemble system, or this GWES, and we unified it with the atmospheric ensemble system, the GEFS, or GEFS, the global ensemble forecast system, and it's currently version 12 in operations. And this was the first time that we coupled here at NOAA the wave model to the atmospheric model. So we're receiving winds from that, and it has a couple of benefits. So we're now within this coupled system, we're within the unified forecast system. But one of the biggest things about getting in a unified system like this is before we would maybe only have, I think I have it on a later slide, like 3 hourly or 6 hourly forcing for the wave model. But then when we can have this online coupling and we don't have to wait for files to exist, we are now doing every hour. We also increased our resolution of our grid, we went from a half a degree to a quarter degree. We actually have 3 computational grids, and then a single output grid, that is that quarter degree resolution. We relax the resolution of the computational grid a little bit in the Southern Ocean for computational speed. And then another big update for version 12 of GEFS was we did objective optimization for the wave source terms following the work of Richard Gorman, who was visiting and helped Enrique as they tuned the system. So here are some configuration details as we went from the global wave ensemble system to our current operational GEFS version 12. So we bumped up the version of WaveWatch quite a bit. Our wind forcing went from 3 hourly to 1 hourly. That also, by being a part of this system, we no longer cut off the wave forecast at 10 days. We went all the way to 16 days. And we also added 10 extra ensemble members. And so that was originally implemented in September of 2020. And so, again, this just has some more details about our upgrades to the wave component for this. So the optimization, the increased resolution, we say exactly which parameters were tuned here. And we also added a third swell partition to our wave forecasts. And so here's some kind of basic statistics. So when we put something into operations, we do a retrospective run so we can compare what's in operations with what we are hoping to replace it with. And here we have 3 lines. We've got GEFS, which is what we put into operations in blue, GWS, which was the old ensemble operations, in green. And then for reference, we had the deterministic multi-1, which was the operational deterministic at the time. And basically what you can see, I mean, we have root mean square error here. And we have, and these are monthly averages for this about year reforecast. And we can see we have huge jumps in skill. And that's whether we're at 24 hours or 120-hour forecast, so that day 1 or day 5. So we really have better accuracy. We can predict our storm waves better. And so we're really pleased with this implementation. And it has continued to perform well. So this is just another, we can look at how, whether we're looking at NDBC buoys up here on the top or our altimeters on the bottom row, we can see this is based on forecast time. We can look at root mean square error or bias. And again, we have huge improvements, which is really what we want to see. And then as we move forward, we want to continue to improve on that. So this is just a big zoomed in image of some of those skills. So you can see again that for all of our forecast ranges, whether we're looking at buoys or the satellites, we really did improve our skill. And now before I jump to GEFS version 13, which we are working towards, I'm going to shout out Ricardo's work. He did a GEFS version 12 based wave reforecast. So it was 20 years. It's all available online. He gave a Zoominar for WISE back in February of 2024. I put his contact here. And since that seminar, a paper came out describing that. So if you're curious about more details, you can go find the YouTube video. You can look up the paper, and it's a great resource of data if you are looking for some ensemble reforecast data for waves. And now we're going to jump towards GEFS version 13. So GEFS version 12 was just the single atmosphere to wave coupling. And now for GEFS version 13, we're going to have an ocean model, MOM6, an ice model, SICE 6. We have a mediator which helps us exchange information between these components. It's called CMEPS, or the Community Mediator for Earth Prediction Systems. And you'll also note that while this is in the UFS system and the UFS driver, these will look really similar if you are familiar with the CESM system. Much of this is very much so the same. And so the waves are going to now get time varying ice input. We're going to get currents in our ensemble system as a forcing. And then in turn, we are going to provide information to have sea state dependent Langmuir mixing in the ocean model. And we are going to provide momentum roughness back to the atmospheric model for its calculation, so that's sea state dependent. And then someday we'll also hopefully pass information back to the ice model and have interactions there. There's actually work ongoing for even further in the future system called SFS, or seasonal forecast system, where we hope to have wave and ice coupling if the wave model is included. And so here's a brief kind of update about where we're going with the wave ensemble system. So we're going to update Wave Watch 3 again. We're going to increase the wind forcing again and have it every 30 minutes instead of every hour. We're going to have that coupling with SICE6 and MOM6 and have that input. And then we're again going to have an increase in forecast length time. So we're going to go out to 35 days now. So hopefully there's work ongoing at the Ocean Prediction Center, again with Ricardo Campos, who is working to make probability diagrams so we can see how we can, and also working on using neural nets and other things to increase our skill out in those long ranges so that we can provide useful guidance to those who are, for example, trying to do ship route planning based on maybe what the waves are. So now I'm going to switch focus here a little bit, and we're going to go to the global deterministic wave model, which is what I am most familiar with. And so giving a little bit of a history lesson, originally we had multi-1, which is I think what a lot of people are familiar with our global wave system, where we had this mosaic of 9 grids. We had, this yellow region, which was like half a degree, and then these other colored and blue, orange, and red with higher resolution inserts. If you look at our operational output today, you'll still see many of these grids as output, but those are no longer our computational grids. So again, it was driven by GFS offline with 3 hourly forcing. It runs 4 cycles a day, and it was only 180-hour forecast. And now we're moving to coupling with GFS. So what is GFS? It's our cornerstone model here at INSEP. It's our global deterministic model. It's run 4 times a day, out to 16 days. We have hourly output for both atmosphere and waves out to 120 hours. We have the global data assimilation system, or GDAS. Right now, that is the wave model is in the forecast of GDAS, which creates our initial conditions. However, we don't actually have data assimilation yet for the wave model. And this provides input and boundary conditions for many other models. So if we're thinking waves specifically, this provides downstream or boundary conditions and initial conditions for our hurricane wave model, which is part of the Hurricane Analysis and Forecasting System, or HAVS now. It provides boundary conditions for our nearshore wave prediction system and many other models. So here's where we went with from multi to GFS version 16. It looks very similar to our GEFS version 12. Again, we're increasing our wind forcing from 3 hours to 1 hour. Here we did actually add surface current forcing from an offline model called RTOFs, or, can I think of the name? Real-time ocean forecasting system. I can't think of the name. All right. And then we did redesign the grid We removed some of the really high resolution grids, but increased our overall resolution. And now we're going out to that 16-day or 384 hours. And again, we optimized our physics, again, using the methods from Richard Gorman. So just for kind of reference, here I've got all of the multi-1 grids and their resolution. And then here on the right is our GFS V16 grids. So we have a 9-kilometer kind of polar stereographic cap, a global core of about 16 kilometers, and then the Southern Ocean is about 25-kilometer resolution, and we have that multi-mosaic grid. And then now we're moving towards GFS version 17, which again looks very similar to GEFS version 13. You may ask, other than being deterministic versus ensemble, big differences are resolution. And for the wave model, for GFS version 17, we're going to be moving to an unstructured grid, and it's going to be about 15 kilometers. But that same physics in terms of coupling and what we have for that. And what are we hoping to get at for version 17? So we're trying to address some low bias in the high amplitude wave events. We're trying to improve our swell forecasts in the Pacific, which have been notable. And then we were looking to increase the entire global resolution and or add high coastal resolution nests. And we're going to do some of these things, but not all of these things. So right now we're going to use about a 15-kilometer global unstructured grid. But the good news is that we're laying all of the foundations and all of the infrastructure so that we can take even further advantage of the features of unstructured grids to have higher resolution potential in the future. Also just has a lot of really great scaling capabilities, which is another reason that we were going towards the unstructured grid, even though we're not using that variable resolution right now. And then we have the coupling. So the big thing with this is that we're now going to have consistent ocean, ice, atmosphere, wave, deterministic forecast. And I know that other centers have been doing that already, but we're really excited to be doing that here at NCEP. And so we have looked at what other centers are doing. And so we can kind of see where we expect the impact. So just general middle and upper troposphere skill. And then we're also looking to see where that impact will be for hurricane and tropical cyclones, whether it's track or intensity or the false alarms. The thing is every global coupled system is different. So there's no guarantee that we will actually see these specific improvements in GFS version 17. One thing that we were looking at is, for example, intensity of the forecast or hurricane forecast. And thankfully with some resolution bumps, a lot of times you see a degradation when you add in an ocean model initially. And we're hopeful that we might not see that when we finally get this all configured. And we are coming close to finalizing our configuration. So it's been a little bit hectic here. But we're hoping to get that done soon. Also, I will tease, hopefully Ali Salimi will be in person with you in May, and he's been working on some physics optimization. So I'm not going to spoil his fun that he's hoping to show you in May. But so we've got a lot of great work going on for that and are optimistic about this next implementation. So I did kind of want to give a broad overview, and we do have a little bit of coupling with our regional models. But for the most part right now, our regional models are standalone wave systems, but I just kind of wanted to give an overview of all the various operational modeling that we do at EMC. And so first up for our operational models, and I want to give a shout out. I personally do not work on the nearshore wave prediction system. Currently, right now, Saide and Ali are our NWPS leaders, and they're the ones who are working on this system and keeping it going. and then Andre, of course, who originally developed most of this. But this is using Swan. It's a different system in the sense that it's on demand and it's driven by forecaster winds. So this is not all of the models that I talked about before. They are every 6 hours you have a forecast run. This is an atmospheric model, but this you actually can have forecasters draw the wind field, and then that's what's coming in. They get boundary conditions, as we talked about before, from the GFS model. They also get surface currents from RTOFs, and they also include tide and storm surge and water levels from getting that from STOFs or P surge. So that's where we have now. And so every single one of these red boxes here are different NWPS domains, which, as you can imagine, these 36 different domains can carry a large overhead to maintain. And so what we're actually going to be doing moving forward is moving to something that we'll be calling the regional wave prediction system, which has finally gotten kicked off for development, which is really exciting. And we're going to go from this picture here on the left with all of the 36 different overlapping domains to kind of a single domain that has quite a big region, because we want to make sure in the Pacific, for example, we're covering Micronesia, where that we have US territories. We also want to make sure that we're covering regions where we have shipping interests and operational responsibilities for kind of like our offshore. Usually we were thinking of coastal, but we also have offshore responsibilities that we want to make sure that we have great predictions for. And so this, some of the details are still being worked out, but we are going to move from Swan to WaveWatch, and it is going to be a scheduled system versus this on-demand system. And I'm going to be wrapping up here in a minute. So we also have a Great Lakes, which is also a WaveWatch unstructured grid system. And here's just kind of some zoom ins of these different regions and lakes. We recently added Lake Champlain, and we'll continue to update that in the future. And both of these models have the potential to kind of fit in two coupled systems in the future, but right now these are all standalone wave systems. And so some more details really quick about the Great Lakes. Saide is our Great Lakes wave champion, if you will, and she does a great job doing that and keeping that updated. And lastly, in summary, so EMC is moving towards this UFS, Unified Forecast System, to simplify our production suite. It also is going to enable the infrastructure to have these additional feedbacks and coupling between the different components. I've just kind of briefly listed all of our various wave component systems and our various operational systems here at EMC. And if we have time, I'm happy to take any questions, or feel free to email or send in the chat. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Very nice and comprehensive talk. So any question from the audience?
Hi, Jessica. I have a question. This is Jan. You say you're not sure yet that the wave component will go in GFS v17.
Oh, sorry, I did not mean that. It will not go. It will go. Not sure of the absolute final, all the tiny little physics details configuration. Sorry. Yes, it will be.
But you generally happy with the coupling infrastructure as you have it described?
There can be improvements.
I mean, you're up for a long road, developing a couple system, it's much harder, but it's worth it.
Yes, no, it definitely, to say that it has been a challenge is an understatement, but and I think sometimes we get bogged down in the details of, we didn't hit the stars. We're only in the moon. And so like sometimes you're so I'm very much so in the weeds right now. And so it's hard to take that like 10,000 foot look. But I'm really happy with what we have in place. Is this gonna necessarily be, am I gonna be ready to improve it in version 18? Yes. But I'm really happy with the foundation that we have built, and I'm really excited for what the future holds.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Any other question?
There is one question in the chat.
So what is our plan for development of wave data assimilation? Would it be a standalone module or based on Jedi/GDAS? So it will be Jedi based. That is our kind of future for all of our future DA infrastructure. I will say that I am not a data assimilation expert. And we have had some kind of starts and stops here at EMC. So it's not coming in version 17, maybe in like GFS version 18 or beyond. We will see that. The good news is waves are highly forced. And so generally we've been okay without DA, but I'm looking forward to that improvement when we have it. But it'll be part of kind of the GDAS, Jedi, GFS infrastructure when we do have that data assimilation.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Jessica, can I ask a question? So you mentioned for GFS version 17, so the swell forecast in the Pacific will be improved. But could you explain briefly, so what makes the improvement?
So we're looking at different physics settings as well as just our propagation. So I will say that is our hope. I don't have any firm statistics on, Mike, if you talk to me in 3 weeks, I might be able to give you more numbers of kind of more of what we expect, but mostly kind of looking at physics for the wave model itself, and kind of playing with some parameters to hopefully help improve that. But
Okay,
we'll see.
thank you, Jessica. Okay, so if there is no other question, we are going to move to the second talk. Okay, thank you, Jessica. So our second speaker is Dr. Zhiyi from our operational wave forecast center in China. So he will talk about the new spectral wave model they developed recently over the past 2 or 3 years. And the name is called finite volume wave model. Zhiyi, can you share your screen?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm glad to introduce our new developed third generation spectral wave model. Its formal Chinese name is Mazu Hailang. It's translated to Mazu wave. Finite volume wave model is a technical name. Mazu is an goddess who named Limor. She lived 1,000 years ago, and she bless and protect the fishermen and people who work on the sea. So we name our model this name. We want this model can bless and protect our people on the sea. I will say these contents to you. First, China is threatened by typhoon waves, and we have many wind windmill farms and many marine transportation and some Arctic shipping. So we need a skillful numerical wave model. And as we all know, wave model is an important component in coupled models. So we developed
Sorry, Zhiyi.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay. So we developed a new third generation wave model. Its name is finite volume wave model. This means we use a finite volume technique in this model. This model inherits the spirit of the first third generation wave model in the world and innovatively apply the finite volume dynamic framework to the wave model. So it calls the finite volume wave model. It has these advantages. It's a global regional integrated model and high parallel scalability. It support GPU acceleration is efficient and energy saving, lightweighted and portable, is superb forecasting skills. The governing equations is the wave action balance equation. We all familiar this equation. The source-term parameterization, we have two kinds of parameterizations. The first one is the 1/6 basic parameterization, and the second one is the parameterization proposed by Fabrice and Adhui. The second one is the default one. The source term are listed here. We use these source terms like this. We also use DIA nonlinear interaction, and we also introduce CS interaction into the source terms. The last one is our default scheme. Second, I will introduce something about our numerical schemes. The first one, we use special computation grids. This is the spherical centroidal Villeneuve tessellations mesh grid, which is also adopted by atmosphere numerical model MPAS. This grid has some advantages. First one is easy to expand computing domain to high latitude regions. The second one is gradual densification of mesh grids. The third one is the grid can be shared by both wave model and atmosphere models. We have some special numerical schemes. The first one is the finite volume method in advection terms. The second one is a convolution DIA scheme. Is a vectorization of discrete interaction approximate. This is the advection terms in our models. You can see we decompose the computation domain into many hexagon cells. these cells cells the edge of these cells and the positive direction of the edge is generated during the process of the cell generation, and we can compute the flux across the edge, and we can calculate the advection terms in the red color equation, and we use some Euro scheme to calculate direction and wave number derivatives. The second numerical scheme is the convolved DIA, which is a vectorization of discrete interaction approximate. As we all know, DIA is realized by multiple of four loops, and in this procedure, we have to use many if judgment. In our scheme, we change this process into a convolved calculation. It uses split of matrix and expand matrix and convolution scheme. Judgment calculation is avoided, which is suitable to GPU. The program structure of the numerical models just like this picture. We have some special acceleration technologies. First of all, we use a grid partitioning technique and decompose the domain into pieces with similar area, and put this calculation load to the super computer or GPU server, and we have some L optimization, synchronous input and asynchronous output. The CPU ability can be used efficiently. After this acceleration technology is used to the model, the energy consumption generated by GPU calculation is only 1/8 of that of CPU calculation. The high scalability and the parallel prompting capability using all resources of a supercomputer achieve linear acceleration. We use 130,000 x86 CPU cores on this supercomputer. You can see the acceleration results in the right panel. We use MPI and OpenACC hybrid optimization of FV1 model. You can see the runtime of FV1 among different computation platforms, and the performance comparison between GPU in the lower panel. Before we have to carry our numerical model on 22U nodes, and now the same load can be ported to a 6U node. We just need only one node. With some if you want to run a regional model, you can work it on a mini workstation. The maximum power of equipment is dropped like this. We list the FV1 advantage in this table. You can see FV1 is high with high scalability and unstructured grid. It supports GPU acceleration. As we know, this is the first one support these two kind advantages. Now we will see something about the verification of our model. Our model with 10-kilometer global wave cluster of 2021, the wind force use ERA5 wind hindcast, and the observation come from spectrometer and altimeter buoy data. We use pillar chart and scatter, process curves, and so on. You can see results compare with HY2B listed in this table. The RMSE listed in this column, it performed very well. This is results from HY2B for every month in 2021. These results came from CFO site, the same duration with HY2. We also have some comparison for the time the period. You can see the period RMSE is about 1.0 to 1.3. Is better than WaveWatch 3. Based on altimeter along track remote sensing SWH, the accuracy verification results of FV1 show that the average annual RMSE of this model is about 0.42 meter, and the RMSE varies with cadence, with the minimum of 0.33 meter in spring and the maximum of 0.47 meter in autumn. There are some results of in situ verification. The left panel shows the results of FV1. The right four panels results from WaveWatch 3 with different source terms. You can see the FV1 results is comparable with W3 with ST4. FV1 performed better in the regional sea, such as Bohai Sea. You can see this column everyone capture the maximum better. This can be shown in the scatter results. The same in Huanghai Sea. This is the results in Donghai Sea. In southern area of Donghai. This results from northern area of Nanhai. Based on the buoy observing SWH, the accuracy verification results of FV1 show that the average annual RMSE of this model is 0.4 meter. The RMSE values of 33 ST2 and 3 ST4 and ST6 are 0.4 meter, 0.23 meter, and 0.6 meter respectively. FV1 is more sensitive to large wave process in China Sea. Our future plans, we want to enlarge our user scope and welcome scholars and users from other country to join our community and use our model. This model had been released on our web page. You can download and try it. Thanks a lot. This is our team. The team leader is Fu Jiangyu, and some members listed below. Our partner is Professor Changlong Guan and Qin Xiang and Jin Kai. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Zhiyi. Can you share your screen?
Okay.
So, any questions from the audience? Do you have any question? John.
I had one comment. Very interesting talk. At ECMWF, we also work, because it's quite necessary, to have a GPU component. So on your table, make sure to mention that the EC1 is actually fully ported to GPU. And so it's very nice. Based on the results you show, I think I will try to push again for your institute to join the global comparison of wave forecast, the so-called lead center for wave forecast validation. I think I have a discussion with some of your colleagues, but we didn't manage to fully achieve a status where you would be compared to all other operational centers, which I think will be quite useful for you. We gather data at the CMWF and compare the performance every single month. I think keep this in mind, because then you'll get a better feeling of how your model actually perform against other operational system as implemented by their respected operational center.
Zhiyi. Hello?
Sorry, I didn't catch the meaning. Can you can I beg your pardon? I didn't understand and
So if I may, ECMWF carries a global validation of wave forecast, and I think your system will benefit from joining this exercise. I've approached in the past some of your colleagues. I think I will push for this again. And the acronym is a bit complicated, but it's the lead center for wave forecast validation, and is run on behalf of WMO, the World Meteorological Organization. And in doing so, you'll be compared every month to other operational centers, so you will know exactly where you are with respect to the performance of your system.
oh, thank you very much. We have applied to join this program. Our center had take this into the 2025 annual operational work. We have propose our data to this program. At first, maybe our leader side, our center maybe join this in this year, and our supervisor had agreed this propose. Maybe we will compare our results with other centers in the near future.
This is very good. I will talk to my colleague who is in charge of it to make sure we make progress on this. It'll be very useful.
Yeah. Yes. We have two candidates to join this program. The first one is FV1, and we also have a localized WaveWatch 3. We have some modification in this model, but maybe we just can push FV1 to this program. Yes,
I think so, because it's mostly for global application, this verification.
it's a global one.
Yeah.
With a 10-kilometer resolution. Is the time range is about 7 days to 10 days.
Very good. Well, I'll get back in touch.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. We also got two questions in the chat box. So the first question is, Zhiyi, do you have any plan to implement an exact scheme like WIT or reduce the RAM to solve the nonlinear four-way interaction system instead of the DRA scheme in the model? Can you see the question in the chat box?
Yes, I see. Yes, we want to implement this scheme to the WRT because it's just we just developed the scheme used for DIA. WRT scheme it will be listed in our plan. Maybe we will implement it in future. Thank you.
Okay, so second question is, has this from Dr. Jianguo Li, has this FV1 model been compared with your present global wave forecasting model?
Yeah.
What
yes.
is the runtime of this model for one model day?
Yes. We have some comparison with our present global wave model based on waveWatch 3. waveWatch 3 model have its own advantage. For example, is much lighter than FV1. We use SMC grid because this grid can reduce the computation dramatically, and we just calculate x direction and y direction. In the FV1, we have to calculate 6-edge flux. So waveWatch 3 have in this aspect, waveWatch 3 has its advantage, and waveWatch 3 we have used for a long time. We can modify it and we have accumulated some sophisticated techniques in this numerical model. The performance, the accuracy performance, maybe waveWatch 3 has a little advantage compared with FV1 in the global domain. In regional domain, FV1 has its advantage. That's all. Thank you.
So Zhiyi, the question is, how long it takes for FV1 if you do a 1T simulation with your supercomputer?
If we use the GPU supercomputer, we just take 45 minutes to complete a 7-day global wave forecasting. If you use waveWatch 3, the time is larger than 1 hour. If we carry a 10-kilometer resolution waveWatch 3, maybe the computation time is 3 times of that FV1.
Okay, thank you. Any question from audience? So we. No. Okay, so thank you, the two speakers today, and I think if there is no other questions, I'm going to close the meeting today. And before the end, I would like to draw your attention that we are searching the speakers for the program of this year. So if you and all your colleagues are interested, so please let us know and send us an email. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.